This is the Advertising Blueprint with Ryan Pancoke.
Welcome into the Advertising Blueprint with Ryan Pancoke, where we go over advertising strategies for the small business owner. So, in our first episode today, we're going to go over demographics. Who are we targeting? How are we targeting them? What are we looking for when we're trying to advertise our business or our product? So the first thing that we're looking for is your age. What age are you targeting? Now, the reason why this is such a big deal for a lot of businesses is because people actually act and do different things at different stages in their life. For instance, if I have a cousin who's 23, 24 years old, I'm going to guess that they're doing something much different than maybe my 65-year-old cousin who's probably sitting at home on the weekends with his family when the younger one is going out, having fun, going to the club, doing this, doing that, doing all kinds of fun stuff. So we want to ask ourselves, what age group are we truly trying to target? Now, in the advertising world, it basically jumps every decade. It goes from 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, 55 to 64, and 65 plus. That's how they break things up in the advertising world. So typically, some of the biggest ones that we see are a lot of people are going for 25 to 54. That's kind of the family age where you have multiple kids. And then another big one is 55 plus or 65 plus. That's more of your retired people. So again, they've got way different things that they're doing all day long. It's if you're 55 plus, 65 plus, there's a good chance you're going to be at home during the day because you're retired. Well, if I'm 25, 35, 45, or 55, I'm probably going to work because I haven't made my money yet. So again, the age really does really mean a lot. So the next thing we're going to go over is gender. Now, I know that everybody's different, and I know that there's always some sort of exception to the rule. But when we're talking about advertising, we are lumping people in, and we're going after the majority. So, for instance, if we're trying to target men, we know that men probably watch sports. Now, does that mean women don't watch sports? That's not what we're talking about at all. It's just there is a far more majority of men who watch sports demographic-wise than there are women. So when we're talking about this stuff, it's not to say that women don't watch sports. It's just saying that men are more likely to watch sports. So when we're trying to figure out where do we hit our advertising, how do we get these people to come in, now we know what we're doing. So when we look at men and women, that's what we're looking for. Now, the other thing that we're looking for, and this is pretty common, is just the geographic of where your business is located. For some people, that's really simple because it's a service business and they're only worried about the people in their small city. Now, for some other people, they're selling a product. So when you sell a product, there's a very good chance you sell it online. So your demographic when it comes to geography could be your city, your state, it could be global. So that really does factor in a lot of different things when it comes to your demographics and where you're going for. Now, those are the most common ones. Those are the ones that we talk about all the time. Now, when we go into digital advertising and when we dive more into that, we'll go more into some of these things. But when you do advertise online, they harvest all your data all the time. So when you're going on to Facebook, when you're going on to Twitter, when you're going on all that stuff, they are constantly getting information on you, on who are you, what are you doing, what are your habits. I actually joke around with people all the time saying that your phone knows more about you than your spouse does, which is probably true in 99% of all cases. So when there is digital advertising, you can actually look into what sort of income are they making? What are their different hobbies? What is their marital status? Even what is their housing status? Now, some of these you might ask yourself, why does that mean anything? Well, let's talk about your marital status. If you go from single to engaged, guess what? You're going to get a lot of advertising for things in regards to your wedding. Do you think it's just a coincidence that in the year or 2 years that you're engaged, that you just happen to get a whole bunch of advertising when it comes to bridal shows, when it comes to wedding dresses, when it comes to it's like engagement rings, jewelry stores? All these people are getting that data from your digital, from your social media accounts, from your every single day habits. Anytime you go onto a website, it knows exactly when you're going, why you're going, what time you're going. It goes over all that stuff. So now, one of the other things too that I want to talk about is when you're trying to figure out your business's demographics, you need to figure out, are you going for my overall business and who we're trying to target? Or are you more of a product advertising where maybe your business just sells a bunch of different products, or maybe you yourself only sell one product? There's a huge difference. So for instance, going after a certain kind of business, let's say if you are a home improvement business, let's say if you are a heating and air company, well, you're a service and you know that you do heating and air all day long, you're going for the same demographic all the time. Now let's flip it around and look at someone like Walmart. Walmart sells a bunch of different things. So at certain times of the year is actually where their demographics are going for the products. So for instance, during Mother's Day, they probably have some things that they're trying to tell the fathers, hey, look, this is something that you should be buying mom. Same thing with Father's Day. That whole week, they might be pushing lawnmowers, they might be pushing grills, they might be pushing things like that because they know, hey, look, this is the week of Father's Day. We know that there's going to be a lot of people going out buying gifts for these people. So Walmart's strategy could change drastically from week to week, where 1 week they might be going after women and women-dominated places when it comes to radio, TV, online advertising. And then the very next week, Walmart might change and say, okay, well, now we're going to switch everything and go after sports. We're going after men. We're doing this, this, and this. But for that heating and air company, it's the same all the time, all year round. So something I always like to give a story about usage and about how these people use this in real life. So a while back, when I first started advertising, I had one of my customers that would sell cabinets and they would sell countertops and granite, and they flat out said, we are targeting women. Well, when I went in there and when we were going over different shows that this client could buy, that this business owner kept saying all the time, I love football. I watch football all the time. I know a ton of people watch football. I want to be on Sunday football. I think that's the best place to be on. Well, that's true. Everything he's saying is true. Football does amazing. Sundays, it's through the roof. Sunday does a terrific job. And whenever he would buy ads in those football time slots, he would see it. So then he'd go to work on Monday or Tuesday and he'd feel great. But his sales were stagnant. So after gaining some trust from this client, we then said, hey, look, why don't we change your strategy? You like football because you're the business owner and you're a man. But you flat out told us you're going for women. So if you're going for women, why are we in football? So we changed up his whole entire advertising strategy, and he went from football to shows that may reach more women, whether that's The View, whether that's The Bachelor, whether that's a Top Chef show, something like that, where we can actually see these shows are hitting more women than they are men. Well, for the first few months, he never saw his ad. So for the first few months, he was really skeptical. Man, I don't know. I haven't seen my ad for a few months. I don't know how this is going. But as the months went on, his sales slowly increased and went up and went up and went up. And we spent the exact same advertising budget. It's not like in one of them we spent more in these certain months, but then when we switched it, we did something different and we spent a lesser amount. We actually spent the exact same amount. We just completely shifted on what shows we're targeting based on age, based on gender, based on income, based on a bunch of different factors. But making those changes helped his business increase 20 to 30%. And it's small changes like that can make the biggest difference. So that is everything on demographics. Want to make sure that we're going over the basics and going over why we're doing things the way that we're doing. This is Ryan Pancoke with the Advertising Blueprint podcast. Tune in next time, and we're going to be going over budgets.